The Trump State Department is diving headfirst into a completely different investigation concerning Hillary Clinton's emails. According to the Washington Post, as many as 130 officials have been contacted in recent weeks by State Department investigators, a list that includes senior officials who reported directly to Clinton, as well as others in lower-level jobs whose emails were at some point relayed to her inbox. Of course, we all remember how those elusive emails kind of overshadowed the 2016 presidential election. But could this impeachment inquiry actually do the same thing for 2020? A lot of people are wondering this. So Vox here posting this, saying the very real possibility that America, or Axios rather, will face the theater of House hearings and then a Senate trial in D.C. while campaigns unfold nationally, has both parties scrambling to recalibrate strategies. So here to talk strategy with me, Brett Bruin, who is the president of Global Situation Room Incorporated and former U.S. diplomat, by the way, who served as Global Engagement Director, and Matt Mackowiak, the president of Potomac Strategy Group, which provides political consulting to conservative campaigns. Welcome to both of you. Brett, let me start with you on all of this, because a lot of people are wondering how this impeachment proceeding and process would present actually an opportunity to possibly reunite the Democrats.
Well, without question, it's an issue where the Democrats are unanimous in their interest to pursue this inquiry. But at the same time, it is a tectonic shift in the political dynamics of the race. You had Elizabeth Warren gaining some serious momentum, and now that has been stalled somewhat because you have the introduction of this major impeachment issue. And so there is an opportunity for some of those other candidates to try to break through in this race. And one of the things that I think is going to be key is going low and going local while the national attention is focused on impeachment.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Matt, I want to ask your take on the whole the polling that we saw out today, where you saw for the first time 55% of Americans are approve of this impeachment proceedings. I was looking at the numbers from the previous proceedings, and we've never had the numbers that high. Could this actually be a turning point for your party?
Well, I think it depends where the story goes from here. You know, there's been, tremendous coverage over the last 4 or 5 days of this story, really going into early last week. And so polling is a lagging indicator. It's not instantaneous. The American public has to basically be able to comprehend and understand, the information that's out there and then consider it. And the polling companies have to be able to contact them and get their responses. So there's always a little bit of a delay. Look, I don't think that a majority supporting an inquiry, that doesn't mean that a majority supports impeachment. They're going to want to look at the evidence, look at, the facts, look at the history, and then make a judgment. And that's what every member of Congress and every senator is going to have to do as this goes forward.
Yeah, and I should mention the polling that I'm seeing right now from August of back in 1998, and Gallup, 34% of Americans supported impeachment against President Clinton, and even in December, that number was 34%. We are now, Brett, at 55% in this poll, and we're very early on into this inquiry and into this investigation.
Well, and speaking of delays and lagging indicators, I think you're seeing in the Republican ranks on Capitol Hill a rather significant lag behind where the American public is, clearly where the facts are on this case. And what's interesting is as this inquiry proceeds, it's going to become more and more tenuous for the Republican leaders, for their rank-and-file members facing difficult re-elections to provide cover for President Trump. And let's not forget, at the end of the day, this doesn't necessarily end up with Trump being removed from office. But if Republican senators have to vote on protecting him, that could be a costly vote.
And Matt, let me ask you about Joe Biden, because we had this little breaking news alert that went out moments ago from Sam Stein at the Daily Beast, reporting that the Biden campaign has now written letters to top executives and hosts at major news networks demanding that they stop booking Rudy Giuliani. I know you're learning this for the first time, but why would the campaign do that? And what's at play here?
I don't know. That's a puzzling campaign tactic at this stage. Look, the Biden team obviously thinks that Rudy is making inaccurate allegations. He was citing sworn depositions this morning on one of the Sunday shows. So I don't know. Look, Rudy Giuliani is a key figure here, whether you like it or not. I don't think Giuliani very much helps Trump's case when he goes on television because he's so erratic. But clearly, he's a participant here, and the idea that you're not going to interview a participant and a newsmaker is ridiculous. I think the better question is, what is this impeachment inquiry going to, how is it going to affect Biden's presidential campaign? They have talked about how they've seen a fundraising bump. I suspect he actually may get a polling bump as Democrats unify since he's the subject of Trump's attacks. But I do think there are going to be lots of questions about how his son was getting a $50,000 a month contract in Ukraine without any experience in that country or in energy. So I think there's going to be more to learn. I want to learn on both sides. I agree with Congressman Will Hurd of Texas this morning, who said he wants to see Rudy Giuliani testify, and he wants to see Hunter Biden testify.
Brett, I want you to pick up on all of that. And that new reporting, again, as I mentioned, from Sam Stein, we haven't gotten it here at NBC to confirm it is it. But the Biden campaign is asking them, networks reportedly, not to have Giuliani on TV.
Yeah, because this issue cuts both ways. Certainly, there is an opportunity, an opening for Biden to try to reassert himself after having lost some ground during the first few months of the campaign. But it also brings up some of these questions, some of these issues that have been weighing on Democratic voters' minds. Is Joe Biden really the change, really the difference that they want to see in Washington? And on that score, I would also say there is a danger for other D.C.-tied candidates, and perhaps you'll see an opening for some of the non-D.C. candidates, whether it's Buttigieg or Yang or Beto, to reinsert themselves in this election.
Okay, all right. Brett and Matt Mackowiak, our thanks to you.